I'm Lisa Field. I live in East Hampton, and I've lived there for 30 years. Right now, we're on Main Street in Sag Harbor. We're standing in front of the Sag Harbor Variety Store, which is my family business. My family has owned the business for over 50 years. There was no experience that would compare to what we went through with the pandemic. We always thought a hurricane was like, the biggest, craziest thing we ever had to experience. And every time a hurricane came, we would work through it and say, oh, thank God we, survived another one. But the pandemic was just something that nobody could have predicted or expected, and we're still dealing with it today. Thank God we were deemed essential early on, but in the very beginning when they were talking about closing businesses, I did meet with the mayor of Sag Harbor at the time, and we had a discussion, and I said, no, we're essential. We need to stay open. We sell, things that normally during a hurricane when people are looking for essentials like batteries and candles and flashlights, preparing for 2 weeks where people were supposed to get whatever supplies they needed to stay at home and shelter in place for 2 weeks. For us, that was paper towels, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, health and beauty care items, deodorant, soap, shampoos, a lot of the things that you don't think of. It even stretched as far as now you're home with all your children, what are you going to do with the kids? And the kids that were learning at home with the remote learning, all of a sudden there was the need for computer paper or notebooks, arts and craft supplies. The pandemic helped people to rediscover the value of a true Classic 5 and 10 and what we are. One of the interesting things is that early on, the request for food items was something that we hadn't experienced in a while. And we were able to bring in things like pancake mix and ketchup and, kind of things like that, that supplemental food items that people were looking for. In the very beginning, it was something that I spent a lot of time. I would leave work during the day and I'd go home at night and I'd be ordering from all my different vendors and trying to find different suppliers. And I think that's something that we had the advantage of over the larger stores, because the larger box store, they have their suppliers, their vendors, who they get their wholesale products from. Or small store, I'm able to reach out to lots of different wholesalers and vendors, and by doing that, I was able to say, okay, well, this one has X, Y, and Z today, but I still need to find paper towels or I need to find Clorox wipes, so let me try this vendor over here. And I spent a lot of time after hours on the phone and going online and communicating with my wholesalers, who most of them are also small business owners. So I think that worked to our advantage. In the very beginning, it was early March. We are normally short-staffed at that time of year anyway, just because the need isn't there. So we had a smaller staff to start with, and the craziness of the business that was needed and what was put on us got very intense very early on. So the first thing we did was shorten our hours. And we said, okay, we're only going to be open from 10 to 4 every day, but that way we can come in early, do the cleaning that's necessary, have the store open for the customers, and then after hours do the necessary ordering and things that had to get done. So in the very beginning, we had most of our deliveries would arrive on Thursday, and we had one truck that would come at 6 a.m. and one that would come about 10 a.m. So on Thursdays, we actually, most days didn't open until noon, because by the time the trucks got here, unloaded, got into the store, and then we needed to price them and put them on the shelf, it was noon before we could even conceive of opening the door. And our customers adjusted to that, which was great, because they learned, like, okay, we're going to have the products on Thursday. You just got to wait till 12 o'clock to come get your toilet paper, paper towels, Clorox wipes. But then it evolved. The need about 2 weeks in became the dishwasher pods and shampoo and deodorant and pots and pans and storage containers for food, because now all of a sudden you have all these people that are at home and they're cooking every day and they're creating dishes and they are saving their food, and they needed saran wrap and Reynolds wrap, so things like that then became the hard to find items. And then it evolved as we got into the spring, with the parents kind of saying, well, now what do we do with our kids, because the kids have been home for 3 months and they're bored. So then tie-dye kits became the hot activity that everybody wanted to do. Puzzles and classic board games remained solid right from the beginning, and even now we're still seeing that families got back into, okay, we're spending all this time together, we need to branch out to do something outside of what we normally do. Yeah, there was one incident where there was a family that had come in, and at the time we were requiring masks of everybody. And I asked the woman to please put a mask on, and I don't know if she was having a bad day or bad life or what was going on. And you have to remember, at that time, people were afraid. Nobody really knew, how serious this was or how serious it wasn't going to be. And she just started screaming at me, and she really got in my face, and I don't have to wear a mask, you can't make me. And it really got very ugly. And I was surprised at the other customers in the store that immediately got right behind me and said to the woman, she's doing us a service by being open. Like, you have to follow the rules. If a mask is required, wear the mask. And I was really impressed by that the customers saw that we were providing a service by being open. The mandates in the beginning were for the elderly to stay home, not to come out. So there were customers that we were used to seeing, every couple of days or once a week that we didn't see for months. And we'd say, oh, what do you think happened to this one? And then as they would come in, we'd be so happy to see them and like, oh, okay, good, they're healthy. And there have been a few. One stands out, and I don't even know the woman's name. And we kind of referred to her as the crossword puzzle lady because she would come in and buy crossword puzzle books on a regular basis. And I haven't seen her in a while. And I don't know, maybe she relocated or maybe, I'm hoping that she's well. I will admit, the first summer, July and August, it was unbearable wearing a mask in the heat, in the summer, working through it. But we did it, and, it sweat through a couple of masks a day, but, we just, at that point, did absolutely what we had to do to keep ourselves safe and to keep everybody around us safe. But I will be honest with you, in the end of June of this year, when it was okay, we think it's all right not to wear masks once you're vaccinated and it's your choice, it was a welcome relief to be able to not have to wear a mask. And some of my employees still choose to, and some customers still choose to, but it is nice now that fear has been removed. Not to take anything for granted, maybe. That might be, you go about your life and you run your business and you do things and you expect things to always continue to be a certain way, and you can't assume that things are going to stay that way. Insanity. It was insane what we went through, and to some extent we're still going through. But the very beginning, the absolute fear that everybody lived with, and then just the change in lifestyle of people working from home all of a sudden and students not being able to go to school. And I never would have imagined that the government would be able to come in and say, oh, your business, we're deeming your business not essential, so you can't open your business, so your livelihood now just, sorry, but you can't go to work. That was crazy. And it was just, you could never have imagined that. So it was insane is really, the word that comes to mind.